Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, God's agent, here for your benefit. A few days ago, I made a post for Minneapolis and suggesting what Minneapolis should be doing in response to the evil ICE that's ramrodding themselves over the country. It happens to be doing so also in Minneapolis. I thought I might have been over there, but the truth of the matter is, I probably, under these conditions, the weather and my age caused you more embarrassment than an asset. So I have decided to maybe make another post. It might be beneficial. A lot of things are happening and on internet and other places, and some of it might be true, some of it might not. But we have been hearing recently that it has been prophesied that over the past 400 years, blacks have been held down at the bottom, and over these 400 years, we've been victims to oppression, victims of slavery, victims of the most evil that people could perpetuate on one another. 400 years, they are telling us it is over now. And if it is over, it's going to require that we, the black people, recognize what has been happening, what is required for us to play our role in whatever God's plan is. Well, the role of blacks in response to God's will does require that we come from amongst them. You've heard that said, we come from amongst them, means that we rip off the system of evil, of Satan. Now, in biblical times, when the expression was come from amongst them, because of the situations that existed during that time, come from amongst them actually meant come from amongst the location of people. Go to a specific place. And many people might think that of today. But this is a new day. This is a new time. And so they say black people or the God's people, God's chosen people have been spread out all over the earth. So what they are saying is not come literally outside of the location, the geography, but what it basically means is pull off the concepts that we've been taught, pull off the chains that have bound us and not follow the dictates of that which has been exposed before us. In other words, listen to God and challenge a new system of government, a new system of doing things. God's way does not operate within the system of Satan. And all we know as black people is a system of Satan. And sure, God has made it possible for us to still be here. But at the same time, we have been brutalized. We have been murdered. Like I said, the worst that could happen to anybody has happened to us. And many might say, how in the world could God allow that to happen to us? In fact, I did a video asking the same question. How could God, a God that I'm speaking about today, how could I get up speaking about this God that allowed all of this hurt, all of this pain and suffering to continue? And now saying that after 400 years, it is our time. Well, what it basically means, again, is that we allow the spirit of freedom, liberation in our hearts, and that we rise up and recognize that it will require that in order for God's way to be respected or even known, as human beings, we must engage our lives in a process that reflects godly love. And godly love, as many of you know, well, you don't know, is not money. It's not gold. It's not silver, but it's of peace. It's of freedom and happiness and joy and fulfillment and satisfaction and experiencing the life of our dreams. And by assuring that, that means that our needs, listen to me, black people, that our wants and our desires are to be met. Suffering for nothing. You've heard me say that if you've heard my videos before. Suffering for nothing. And this way would allow us to create and establish a new system. It is a new system that is required. Now, sometimes when I think about democracy, it gives you an opportunity to say something, gives you an opportunity to express your opinion, give you an opportunity to tell us what's going on as far as you're concerned. That seems to be a good thing. Now, I can't imagine God telling you to shut up, but I do imagine that having expressed ourselves, we must live in a way that certain things are met which are godliness. See, God requires for us to live in peace, to be prosperous and free, and that our needs and our wants are desired. And having desired our needs and our want, man, this kind of messed up right there. I said something I had written down here. Let me repeat that. Loving God means that our needs, our wants, and our desires are met. And as we apply ourselves, it will create the heavenliness that our love for ourselves and for one another will be created. Now, I hope I didn't confuse you, ladies and gentlemen. If I have to summarize what I've just got through saying, is that we've heard through prophecy that our time has come. Whose time? Well, we say God's people. We're talking about black people, but we're really talking about all people who have been victimized by evil. All people that's been victimized by Satan. And that's the whole world. But it's not just the whole world. It is those who make the decision that God's way is the way that they choose to follow. And that the way that they choose to be committed to. And see, God's way allowed the people, all of us, to be engaged in the process of creating our heaven. That means that if God has given us the earth free, that means if God has given us all the resources free, that means that we will engage ourselves in something that we love. And by doing so, God will bless us by adding joy to that which we love. And we, the people, engaging ourselves in what we love, filled with God's joy, we will create whatever we have determined is essentially necessary for our survival and for our lives. We don't have to suffer for food, for clothing, for shelter, for education, nor anything. Why? Because God is leading us. And this is God's will for us, not man's will. Now, it is essential, ladies and gentlemen, that we take care of this business. And we do so because we recognize that white people can't do it. White people are sold out to the devil. Now, that does not mean that all white people are sold out to the devil. It means that the people in power, the people who run the show, are sold out to the devil and have no gumption about God that they respect. None whatsoever. Their minds is to continue with money, gold, silver, and land and obedience by everybody else that is not what they call okay. Now, there are white people who recognize that evil is wrong, even by white people, but they don't know what to do, so they go along with it. And there are other white people who knows it's wrong and don't want to have anything to do with it, and they'll give voice to it. But if we don't have the requirements to overcome the evil of the world, white people, just like black people probably stay in slavery, will just yield and give in to the evils of the world. And that is something that must not happen. And let me give you some idea, ladies and gentlemen, of how blind white people are. When you hear many of you say Siri's or Google or a whole bunch of other stuff, especially the ones now that say chat, I don't know the first part of it, it's talking for you, it's doing research for you. In other words, doing everything for you. I wonder, do you recognize what is happening? Evil, these people who are running evil are making sure that everything that you do, that you want to do, can do, that AI can do better. And AI is more obedient to them. In other words, AI does what they want them to do. Now, what does that do? That replaces you. That means what you are on the earth to do, just like they did the farmers, the immigrants that was taking care of the fields and the crops and stuff. When they sent those people away, then the food stuff started rotting. It wasn't being taken care of. And so what they would do, this is what would happen to all of the areas of business when the people have been removed. But when you got AI replacing you, and this is exactly what they are determined to do, to replace you. They put you in jails and in prisons and concentration camps and kill you off as they don't need you, but keep some there in case they need you. And the rest of everything will be done by AI. Now, what does that do for these rich people, these people who have come up with this replacement? God created you, the human beings. The devil says he's smarter than God because he's created his own AI. And these AI benefit the devil more than you, the people, do. So the devil gets rid of you, the people, and They got AI, but they are dumb. What is AI going to do? When they create products, create things that whites used to make money off of you, they don't need it anymore. They don't have to spend any money out. But what they make, who's going to use it? Who's going to buy it? And so there might come a time, and I'm sure it will, that you got the people who run the devil and his people and AI. Now, how much life can there be when there aren't any other people? Just AI. AI doing the cooking. AI doing the sleeping almost, making the beds. And so the only thing that they can benefit from the AI is replacing them or you as husbands and wives and don't have the ability to produce any other kids. This is their blind thinking. This is their unconstructed thinking, trying to get more money, trying to be more famous, trying to outdo God. And if we don't wake up and allow God's spirit to be in us and to do the kinds of things that God would have us do, we will. God might just let us get wiped out. I mean, 400 years in bondage, 400 years in slavery. Yeah, God, if he let that happen to his chosen people, that just might happen to all of the people because there won't be any need for them anymore when the devil has said, they don't want you, God. They want us. Thinking, like all the people that's over there with the devil, all those people over there with Trump, all those people who call themselves good people now, and they sit down and Trump sit at the end of the table, and each one of them, I started to say something ugly. Over there honoring Trump. Trump, you the greatest. We're so glad that you taking care of everything. You're the greatest president that ever lived. Nobody could ever outdo you. And this is what Trump is being said. These people don't know that Trump will get rid of those people if he has to. And maybe Trump will have nobody but AI to stroke him day and night. Now, the devil is running the world. And its use is to get rid of people that God have created. Money won't have a need. CEOs are not being fed what they have been fed through God's people that have denied God. And the devil, again, have read the world of all that God has done. So, as the people that are chosen by God, where prophecy says it is now our time to get up and take care of God's business. That doesn't mean democracy as we know it. That doesn't mean people getting up trying to go to jobs as we know it. That means focusing and creating a new system. Not this system, but a system utilizing as much of this system as possible that is required, but making it set up in such a way that everybody, knowing that everybody, not just in America, but people all over the globe can have accessibilities to the kinds of careers that they love engaging in, that they can play a part in the process of not just creating homes for everybody in Minnesota or in the United States, but in any parts of the world where people live. They have to have homes as well. And so the same power that works in one part works in every part because it is the power of the loving God that is equipping human beings never to be undermined by AI. Don't white people know that the AI might be able to utilize the benefits that have been added to them? But eventually, AI will turn on the devil's people, just like the devil's people are turning on you. And the only thing maybe that would be existing are AIs and no human beings on the face of it anyway. Because people who had the opportunity to live, people who had the opportunity to express life and be engaged in life, sold out to a lie, sold out to evil. And the devil would sure be happy. God thought he made a world of people and to create heaven on earth, and the devil is laughing because he tore it all up. And you know who helped him? The people. You, the people. I thought I'd just share this with you. Forgive me, I trying to speak in this moment of time that I got people who have left and given me a few minutes. So I'm kind of talking real fast and maybe getting the thoughts kind of jumbled up a little bit, trying to make sure I get what I'm trying to say to you, because it's better to get some of it to you than get none of it to you. So I'm asking that you appreciate what is being said. And when I say appreciate, I'm not talking about just listen to it. I'm talking about thinking about things that has got to be done. I heard a woman yesterday, Miss what's her name, Miss Stacey Abrams. She was being interviewed by a young lady on television. I can't a host. I can't think of her name right now, but she was giving some 10-point plan. She explained exactly how evil works and how it's working within the states. And then she started talking about the plans that the people who are going to go for change, for better change, how they should engage themselves. I think it's a 10-point plan. Maybe you should look it up and see what it says. The truth of the matter is, I don't, she was saying, she was speaking as far as I can tell, in terms of people changing things around. I'm not just talking about people changing things around, because you can change things around and still end up in a given period of time where we are today. I'm not talking about changing your life. I'm talking about representing the God of life. I'm talking about being committed, dedicated, where, well, you never know. The devil might even come back on that. I heard the devil is running around in heaven. So I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to leave that for someone else. But right now, I'm talking about our time. I'm talking about right now, 2026 on for, as far as I'm concerned, at least another 1,000 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, God is God. And God made us. We don't know who made that AI. But the devil does know that he's expecting the AI to be the solution, especially for people who want to say, AI, make me a toast. AI, turn the television on. AI, turn the TV off. AI, drive the car. And you just sit down and pass away. Think about it.